Greetings, I'm Bairnt and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today is the day we are going to start Aeon Trespass Odyssey. I'm super pumped for this game. This is going to be an epic adventure game with lots of boss battlers. Oh, it's going to be immense. So in this video, we are going to do that. We're going to do the boss battle. We're going to do the tutorial so that everybody understands exactly how this game is played and all the different things that go on inside of it. And after that, we'll move into the tutorial journey section. That way, I'm going to be able to put out a couple videos that aren't going to spoil very much of the story at all, but at least get you rooted into what this game is and what you can expect when you open Aeon Trespass Odyssey and begin to dig in. If you're excited to see if our characters can make it through the tutorial battle, I sure hope we can, or I might have some issues with my gaming abilities. Then I need you to meet me at the table. We'll quickly go through the setup for this tutorial battle. I'm going to concentrate on this particular Titan, but do know all the Titans are very, very similar in this tutorial battle. There's not much of a difference. This is Herodotus, he's a Dream Walker, and they're all the same. They're Dream Walkers. I'm going to start from the top and just quickly go down this card. Up here is a power die. Whenever we're able to hit the enemy, we're going to gain a power die plus any other that we get from attacking. We're able to move 5 spaces. Whenever we make a move action, we get a special power here called Rush that we may trigger during the combat here. We have a trauma table. Our trauma table is going to make us draw cards based on our danger level on our Triskelion that's here. I'm just going to call it the dial thing because I'm totally probably going to say it wrong the entire time otherwise. Our danger level is right here, and as this goes up, the amount of trauma card we're going to draw is going to get higher. If we ever get to 9+, we're going to be drawing trauma cards that potentially could kill us, which is not going to be good. Over here, we have our Kratos card. It's not really a card, it's actually on there. But as we gain rage, we're going to be able to put Kratos tokens into the Kratos pool. These tokens can only be placed in there if you actually hit during an attack. So if I just move 5 spaces, I'm not able to use my rage to put any in there for the next person. And that's what they're for. You're able to talk amongst your players to decide whoever's going to take the next action, what type of tokens would you like in there to benefit you the most? Would you like to use tokens that allow you to hit easier, or do you want tokens that are going to allow you to potentially damage him easier once you actually hit the spot? And you'll see how that works during the playthrough. But it's a really neat system, and it's a cool cooperation that you can use amongst all your players. Each of these Titans are giant creatures that are going to be fighting for us in order to take down these primordials. Here is this particular guy all painted up and ready to go. He's holding a ship as a shield just to show you how big these guys are. Now, the only way to damage these primordials is by using Titans. The primordials have a special thing around them called the Aeon Trespass. It's like this special deflection that only these Titans can break through. Now, these Titans are going to be powered and run by some of our Argonauts. So this one is going to be particularly powered and run by Olympia. The only thing that this person has, even though her miniature is holding a sword and a boat, is these fists. The Argonauts are going to be having to write all their stuff down on these pieces of paper that do have to be printed. You have to print these up. They are not in the game. And they have a lot of information on here. The only things we have to worry about is just putting the name. And notice I have 1 Fury, and that's because this character starts with 1 Fury. And so you put that down there. Now, as we go through the game, we may gain more abilities, and we'll also gain more skills. We're also going to gain some of these Menmos, which are going to be able to power up and help us out, or potentially hinder us depending on what they are. Down here we can put boons, afflictions, and notes, but note, not any of this is going to be used really during the original primordial fight. Over here, you're going to notice is that dial system again. And during our journey step, we may gain certain rage or some of our fate during that step, and we'll be going into the battle with that. But from what I understand, after each battle, the dials all get set to 0 before returning to like the map area of the game, the journey type area. We do all have fists. These fists we'll talk a little bit more in depth as we play through the game and actually attack, but just note that I'm going to be able to roll 2 dice when I attack because I'm using these two-handed. It does have an ability here where I can modify it by -1 if I only want to punch with one hand. So say I was using a shield and I want to punch with one hand, I could do that. I'm also going to be able to gain a power die for every one that hits. and I do not get any bonuses to try to hit with this particular weapon, my fists. That's going to be this character here. I'm just going to quickly show you the rest of our Titans and Argonauts, and then we'll move on to the rest of the setup. Next we have Penelope, and I'm not going to show you the Argonaut sheet, but do be aware that the only difference that all of these have is this one number down here and the ability that they have. So she has +1 will, and she'll be controlling this particular Titan that is out on the board, and they all look exactly like they do in the photo to the best of extent. I kind of painted up a little bit different so that I'd kind of be able to recognize them out on the board a little bit more. This person seemed to have some kind of reddish hair, so I gave her red and orange fiery hair, and I kind of painted up her clothes a little bit different to make it kind of match the red hair that she has there. Next is Roz. Roz is going to have 1 courage on her board, and that's again the only thing that's really different about these, except of course the miniature, which is here. She's carrying this, I guess, spearish, like almost thing from a ship or something. Maybe it's like a sail or a mainsail or something, and she's got it all sharpened up and ready to fight. This is our final Titan and our Argonaut. He is going to be having +1 endurance. His miniature's right here. He's cool looking. He's got this big giant club that he's bringing with him to the battle. I apologize, I haven't fully finished painting the bases yet, but I really wanted to get this game to the channel, and I'm really excited to play it, so I got these guys painted up as fast as I could. If you're interested in seeing any of these painted up, please check out my live painting tutorial and channel that we do. On my channel, I do some live paintings, try to get them about once a week. You can see how we paint up some of these miniatures. And also, if you're a member of the Patreon, you can help me decide kind of what the miniatures we are going to paint up. The last thing we have to do is give somebody a priority target token. There is a small token in the game, or else you can use this huge giant miniature. And why would we not use the huge giant miniature? Sadly, it's a fully unpainted huge giant miniature, but I will rectify that in the next stream, I promise you. It's supposed to be applied randomly to one of your characters because it goes to the person with the highest rage value when this fight starts, but sadly all of our characters have 0, so we're supposed to assign it randomly. Randomly, he got it. Congratulations. What's his name? Salone. There you go. Priority target token. Here are the card decks they told me to get ready for this battle. The first one we have is our Mirios ones, where if your fate ever goes to 9, you're going to have to draw one of these cards and resolve what it says. The other ones could potentially cause bad things to happen as well. If you ever get 9 rage, your Titan basically goes insane and dies. If you ever get 9 danger, you're going to be drawing those trauma cards, and eventually you're going to have to draw from a particularly bad deck. This is a deck called the Obel deck here, and if you ever have to draw from those, you're going to potentially die. There's, I think, a 50-50 chance each time you draw, but I've never drawn from one, so let's keep it like that. That's the best plan we can have. The other decks you see here are the minor trauma and the major trauma, and this particular battle told me to take certain decks out. This is a little scripted, but not very much. The first thing it told me to do is, of course, take out any one that come from the some of these ones that they don't want me to have to deal with. They all say cycle 1 for me in front of them, so they're not really, they didn't want them to be part of the tutorial, so we have those here. The other ones it told me to take out is anything that was from a different cycle. For example, cycle 2 and cycle 3, you can see these on here, and I'm doing my best to try to hide what it actually is for me because I don't want to spoil too much of this game. We did have to get all of our condition cards ready to go because we could potentially have to deal with those. Of course, we have these and our Kratos cards as well ready to go. The next thing we're going to set up is our Primordial. We'll be taking on the Hecaton. This is going to be a level 0 fight, so we're going to be using this stat block here. I've placed this card here, which is going to be the particular terrain card we're going to be using for this battle. I've put it here to kind of cover the rest of this card because these are going to be the stats for potentially a later version of this guy that we're going to have to fight potentially. We'll see how it all goes. But I'm just going to put that there to kind of cover it, so again, preventing some of the spoilers that are going to from happening here. We have 2 cards on the side. We have a routine card and we have a signature card. These might come up during the fight. The signature might be used in place or during some of the AI activations, or even maybe some of the reactions. We'll see how that works in the place. And this routine card, on the other hand, activates, from how I understand it, is if your AI card cannot actually activate, you'll do this routine card instead. Before the battle, we have to place out our AI deck, which is going to be all level 1 cards you're seeing here, according to this. Now, of course, as you fight through the game and you progress farther, they might switch out some of these at the beginning, but for the most part, you always start with your AI 1s and your body part 1 cards there, shuffled up and ready to go. These are going to be the different tokens for the Kratos pool we're going to be using, and these are the dice we're going to use as well. Over to the side of the Primordial and below some of the other cards, we have level 2 and 3 cards for the AI and the body parts as well, level 2s and level 3s. These are over here. As we fight against this thing, it's going to start putting some of these into its deck. It's a really amazing system. I've really enjoyed seeing it in action, and I'm excited to try it here. There's a short little page here that tells us a little bit of a backstory, a little bit of flavor text here. It says, "For a long while there was nothing. Then, excruciating pain, you awakened to the cold embrace of the old priest's wiry hands, his wrinkled face an unsung epic into itself, his tired but fiery eyes telling you that an epic is not quite finished. Awaken, dreamer, there is need." You're rushed through the half-lit corridors, sandals clanging on the metal floor, hurried shouts cheering you on. You enter a giant round room the priest called the Union Balian. Green liquid pours from bronze pipes and into a large pool in the middle. Long, thick roots hang from the ceiling, each tipped with a metallic spike. Is there a tree, you wonder absent-mindedly? The priest does not waste time. "Hecaton comes! It crawled onto the ship when we entered the shallows. We are the flame it wants to extinguish. Let it not. Dive in the pool, O Argonaut, and dream the dream of power." Though you have many questions, you recognize the imminency of the old man's plea. You submerge into the emerald waters. The liquid is warm and soothing. Suddenly you feel elated and terrified. As another consciousness makes its presence known, you start to lose your sense of self. You feel that other, more palpable, now simple and unrefined, raw and primal. Tremendous power of a titan. How do I control it? "Learn through struggle!" The last words of the priests are drowned by the mighty bellowing roar of a hecaton. Here's a big overhead shot of the board that we're going to be playing on. I've set out all of our terrain, which is all the same. It is this column card here. The columns are obstacles, obstructing, and destructible. Trap! If you push the Primordial onto this tile, remove the tile and roll a d10, which could potentially do good things for us and hopefully bad things for him. Now, now notice it says that I have to push him onto it. It's the only way that activates. If he moves onto it, it doesn't activate the trap. It has to be pushed onto it. We've placed our characters out on the board, so our Titans are ready to go. They've been placed wherever I wanted them, but wanted to be here, wanted to be here, wanted to be here, and wanted to be there. I guess I shouldn't say they could be placed where I wanted them. The order of what I wanted could be placed in wherever I wanted them. You do have to play with 4 characters at all times if possible. If you ever get to a point where you don't have 4, you have to play with what you have, and if you cannot put them on any Titans on the board at all, you lose the game. If you notice around the side of this board is a bunch of writing, that's a super cool system, because if you could put this board out in the play area and every person could have a certain aspect of the game in charge. Now, of course, I'm in charge of the whole thing, so I don't have the cards all over here. I have them in a place where I can reach them. But for example, your AI deck is here and your body parts are here and the wounds are all down here, so this person's controlling the Primordial. Over on this side, we have miscellaneous and active Kratos pool, so this person can kind of be in charge of the Kratos pool. On top of that, we have trauma cards up there with the conditions and the Kratos and Moreus cards up there as well, and the terrain cards, so that's that person. And over here we have miscellaneous summons and Argo abilities. As we play through the game, our potential, I think the ship or the main thing we're on can give us some abilities that we can bring to the battle, and that person will be charged of that. So it's kind of neat that each person kind of has their own thing to do along with their Titan. So there's a lot of cooperation, of course, on top of that because of the actual Kratos pool over here, which is a neat system. I'm super excited to show it to you. Let's go ahead, take this guy down. Now, as you see, he is right here. He's in the middle of the board. He's this big, giant guy with all these hands. He's got hands absolutely everywhere. He is basically a giant hand monster holding, I don't know, some kind of like animal here. He's probably eating it with hands. He's hand eating it. All right, we'll put him right down in the middle of the board. But which way is he going to face? That's a great question. To find out, you're going to draw your top minor trauma card. Flip it over, and over here it shows you that he is going to be facing down. So he's actually facing exactly like he's supposed to, because I am a genius. And I knew that that was going to happen. No, I didn't. So he's in the middle, facing down. We're ready to go. We're going to draw his top AI card and see what happens. Here we are. This first AI card, I will tell you, is a scripted card. I am supposed to put this one on top of the deck. And it says here, cold open. Let's quick go through this card and show you what you see. First off, it shows you the level of the card. It also shows you what you're going to need to evade. The monsters basically auto hit you every time. It's just a matter of how many of the attacks you're able to evade and how many dice you're going to roll to try to get those 6 pluses. For each one you get above 6 or plus, you are able to avoid it. For every you get less than 6, you're going to take a danger and potentially get closer to death. On top of that, there is a little bit of flavor text. It says it goes from 0 to 10 in a heartbeat, and then punches keep on coming. It's going to choose a target. You're going to start from the top and move down. If it cannot take any of these targets, it will do its routine. The target is going to be the closest Titan in front in range. So if we look here, the 2 Titans that are in front in range is right there. The front, of course, would be this entire thing going down from the front of him. The back, of course, is back here. That's his rear. That means we are allowed to attack either one of these. Since he has a priority target token, I believe he's just going to go right there. I still want to continue down this card, though. So the next thing we do is move attack. And if the person that targets fate is 3 or higher, I have to roll an extra evasion die, meaning it's going to be, I potentially could take even more damage. Each hit will deal 1 damage, or I shouldn't say damage, sorry, it's danger. It'll do 1 danger. This little symbol over here is something that will happen later on in the actual campaign. It allows you to kind of add a reaction right there. So after it targeted the closest Titan in front in range, we would have this particular character that's being attacked would have the ability to use a little reaction to potentially, I don't know, move out of the way or stop him from moving or something, depending on what you have for gears or any extra abilities you have. After that is done, we're then going to perform a pushback 3. Again, there is a little window here if we wanted to do something. We're not going to have anything to be able to do. So we're going to roll some dice to try to avoid this. For every one we don't avoid, we're going to take a danger. After that danger is done, it is going to push us back. But first, we're going to move it. And it gets to move a total of 6 spaces, which is found on its card right up here. And again, trying to cover up some of the stuff so you can't see it. And also it tells me it has 6 health. If we ever put a 6th wound into the wound stack, it will die. We win. It also, when attacking, need to get a 7+ in order to hit it. It has a trait called Friendly Warning, which is found right here. It's -2 to all knockbacks performed by the Hecaton. Now, that is not pushbacks, that's knockbacks. And right here it says -1 to that particular symbol, and you'll see that symbol in just a second. But first, we're going to get hit. And this thing doesn't just move over and move down. These things always do kind of a little zigzag pattern. So it's going to move like that until it is able to attack this character here, now that it is adjacent. And adjacent is always the 2 squares around it. You will never do anything in a diagonal. This will not move diagonally, and you do not, you count range hex according to the cardinal directions as well. If you're checking to see if you have line of sight, though, you'll be going basically in the direction you need to try to see if you have line of sight. But everything else is counted in the cardinal direction. So it's going to be moving just like that. It's going to move down and attack and face the person it's going to attack. Of course, in theory, I probably should turn it, move it, turn it, move it, turn it, move it, turn it, boom, there. Turn, move, yeah, okay. Let's see if Salone can dodge some of this. We'll take our 4 dice and roll them up. Notice one of them is white. You will always roll one white die when you make your rolls here, but the rest will all be these black dice. So let's roll them, because this is what's called the critical die. If you ever roll a critical hit or a critical miss, it could affect things in different ways. If you ever roll critical hits or critical misses on these, unless otherwise stated, it doesn't actually help you in any way. Also, as you noticed, the Titan will, or sorry, the enemy will always go first. unless of course stated otherwise as well. So we'll roll these up and see how we do. We're able to block 2 of them, and we're going to take 2 danger. So that is going to be of course Salone. Salone is going to take the 2 danger, wheel this up to 2, and that's the only attack it's going to do. Now of course it is going to do pushback 3, but there's one more thing we have to do first. Having taken 2 damage by the Primordial, we have to draw a trauma card equal to the amount of danger we sit at. So right now we are at 2 danger, so we have to draw a minor trauma card from 1 to 3 danger. Here's our minor trauma card, and I will tell you this again is a scripted moment. This is the top card that has to be on the minor trauma deck. From now on, the minor trauma deck is completely shuffled. We don't know what we're going to get. This one is called Kratos' Whisper. It says right here, the Memoria are watching us. Memoria, sorry, and gain 1 rage. So I'm going to turn his rage dial up to 1. This is going to help us to get some of our tokens, but also whoever has the most rage is going to be the one with the priority target token. So, well, he's going to keep that. We'll go ahead and discard this card and return back to the board. At this point, we have to do the bottom of the card, which is the after attack effect. It says here, I am going to have to deal with pushback 3. Now, pushback is different from knockback. Pushback is he is following us and he's pushing us back. So 1, 2, 3 is going to push us right back to here. So our character is standing there ready to wallop him with his big giant club, maybe, if we're lucky. Having finished his attack, we'll stick it into the discard pile, and of course when you can't draw a card, you'll reshuffle your discard pile back to here and start drawing again. At this point, it is now our turn. We can decide as a group who goes and when they do. There is no actual turn order to this. I'm going to start with this guy because he's got a big giant ship. He's going to move in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He does have 5 speed. All of our Titans have that. They can do a move action and an attack action, but they can do them in any order they want. As you play through the game, you might find some of your abilities or weapons that actually use both of those at the same time. If you've ever done one of the other actions before, you can't do it. For example, if you need to use your move and attack to do something and you've already moved, you wouldn't be able to do that action. Let's see how he does against this guy. He's going to have to use, of course, his fists. We're going to roll a couple dice. We're going to have to get a 7 or better. We need a 7 or better to hit the Primordial, but this is a semi-scripted event, so both of these are supposed to hit according to the scripted event. So we're going to just say both of those were a hit. We're going to take our body part card, flip it over, and deal with it. And let's talk about what we see here. First, we see the level. We also see the resource we're going to gain. Down here is the Aeon Trespass value. This is the power that is keeping this from being wounded. So it is at a 3. Now, if you notice that symbol right there, that symbol is the same one that we found on our level 0 hecaton. And it says -1. So instead of this being a 3, it's supposed to be a 2, which means we have to get a 2 or better with our power dice. And of course, there is a reaction that if we do wounded, it's going to push us back 1, and we're going to gain a danger. So we don't want that to happen. Then after that, we're going to be knocked back 5. But of course, we would have criticaled this with this. If we would have gotten a 10 on the critical die and been able to wound this, we would have done what it says on the critical part of the card here, and we would not have dealt with this particular part of the card. So let's roll up our power dice and see how we do. To determine how many power dice we have, first we get 1 because our character gets 1. Then if we look at our fist card, our fist is going to get 1 for each success. So we're going to be rolling 3 dice. So we're going to pick these up, roll them, and see how we do. Again, being a semi-scripted event, I am going to show you what all the different parts of these dice are. There they are. This means you have done 1 power worth of damage. Now remember, we have to get 2 in order to beat him. This right here is if we would have had any of these in the Kratos pool, we could spend them to cause more power to occur. And this particular symbol there is something we'll find out in due time, as was says in the rule book. Being a semi-scripted event, though, we are going to have hit him at least with 2 power so that we could have wounded this. So this will be going into the wound stack, but first we have to trigger the reaction. the first thing it's going to do is it's going to turn around and give us push back 1. So it's going to turn, it always will face what it's supposed to be doing, whatever it's supposed to be doing to whoever it is, and push him back 1 space. After that's done, I am going to gain 1 danger, and we'll put that down here for our character. Now, this 1 danger I got from this does not cause me to draw a trauma card because it was not an attack from him. It's just a reaction. The reactions do not give you any trauma cards. This card, since it was an AI card and it was a straight up attack from this guy, that is what is causing a trauma card to be drawn. Once that is completed, we're going to continue on down the card. It does say knock back 5, so our character's going to go flying back 5 spaces. But this particular character, the Hecaton, has a friendly warning ability that says -2 to all knockbacks performed. So he's only going to go back 1, 2, 3. That's the end of that one's turn. At this point, we'll put the body part card in the wound stack over there because we were able to wound it. And then we're going to escalate our character here, this giant evil creature, by gaining a level 2 body part, and we're going to shuffle it right into the body part deck, just like that. The next thing we are going to do is take the AI deck. We're going to grab a level 2 card for the AI deck. You're always going to grab 1 higher than the thing that was wounded. With this here ready to go into the deck, we are going to discard a card that we have found from either the AI deck or the discard pile. I believe you always search the AI deck first for 1 and discard it. If all these were level 2s or 3s, we know that's a level 1. We would discard that and then shuffle the entire discard pile back together. With that level 2 card, we'll put that into our cards here and give this a shuffle. So the interesting thing is, even though you can see the top, you do kind of know what you're coming up against. So we have that level 2 body part here, but only a level 1 card coming from the AI deck. Now that our Titan is gone, we are going to turn this card to signify that we have gone with that one so you don't misplace who has gone and who hasn't. On top of that, there is a real easy rule to forget, which I did forget. Don't forget this. Whenever you make an attack with your Titan, you gain 1 rage. You automatically gain 1 rage. Now, if I would have only moved and not attacked, I don't gain the rage. Only when you make an attack. Before you make the attack, you gain 1 rage. With that 1 rage, we are now going to go to our second action window. And at this point, I can add Kratos tokens to the Kratos pool if I'm hit with an attack. And I did. I didn't have to wound, I just had to hit. And right here it shows that if I have 1 rage, I can either add one of these tokens, which is going to help me when I decide to hit. You can add +1 to one of your dice, or I can add this. And we've already seen how those work. Those are going to be able to turn any of these type of symbols into power and to be able to wound our body parts. Knowing that we have a level 2 body part coming up and a level 1 AI card coming up, I'm going to put one of these into the active Kratos pool. I'm going to guess the body part is going to be a more powerful card to have to deal with than the actual AI card. So we'll place those right up here into the Kratos pool for our next character to use. Here's the board state where it is right now. We have him down here. The 2 girls are over here. And my goal is to maybe have this guy kind of move back towards the center of the board. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but we'll see what we can do. So I'm going to move this character 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You cannot move through these giant creatures. And you also normally cannot be moving through your own allies either. You have to move around them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right here. And I'm going to make an attack against that Titan. Or sorry, I am the Titan. I keep getting them mixed up. We're going to attack with the Titan on the Hecaton. Do note that even though this is the back side of him, you don't get any bonuses from attacking in the back unless there's something in maybe a card you have or an ability you have or something of that nature, but we don't have anything that helps us. So the positioning against this guy at this point really isn't going to help us too much. I'm just going to beat him up with my big giant stick, which is really just my big giant fist. Before I make my attack, I am going to raise my rage to 2, And then our fists are going to allow us to roll 2 dice. We need to get a 7+ in order to hit. We did get a 9 and a 10. Now this is not a critical because it's on the black die. If I would have got the 10 on the white die, it would have been a critical. But both of those are hits, which is really good. So we're going to look at this level 2 body part and see what happens. We have found the hand feet. We have found the hand feet. It has a 4 Aeon Trespass. So we need to get a 3 or more on our power dice. Now I do get to roll 3 power dice to see how we do. Hopefully we do really well. One thing I want to mention is our fate stat. If I would have potentially gotten a bad roll here, say I got a 4 and a 9, but I really wanted to hit this guy, you can use your fate. Every time you put your fate up, you can re-roll one of these dice. But the reason I'm telling you this now is because I want you to be aware you cannot re-roll these dice with fate. You cannot re-roll the power dice. You can only roll the hit dice with fate. If there are abilities and some of the Kratos tokens, or sorry, Kratos powers as we go through as we get more rage, that allows us to re-roll these. But for now, remember you cannot use fate to re-roll the 6-siders. So let's roll these up and see how it goes. I'm hoping for a lot of hits. Oh my goodness, look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can spend my token from the Kratos pool to get me 5 power. That's amazing. We only needed 3. Remember, it's 4 minus 1 to hit it, and all extra power doesn't really matter. And if you don't spend this, you could leave it in the Kratos pool, and it does nothing. So you might as well spend this anyway. That goes away at the end of your attack. So we were able to hit this guy. That's fantastic. We've done 1 more card of damage, but it has a fail action here. We did not fail. We pounded this hand feet into oblivion, so I do not have to worry about anything on this card. Oh my gosh, that was so good. So we're going to place this right here in the wound stack. And of course, you know what that means. We're going to have to escalate our primordial and make him more powerful. We'll be taking a level 2, no we won't, be taking a level 3 body part because we wounded a level 2 and we're going to shuffle this into this deck. Oh my gosh, we already got a level 3 body part in here. Oh wow, what's that going to do for us? Well, I don't know, we're going to find out. It's on top. And on top of that, we are going to add a level 3 AI card and remove a level 1 card from the game in order, I should say from the fight. It doesn't get removed from the game. You're going to be making this, you're going to make the same deck again. We're going to shuffle this up and see what happens. Oh no, it's on top. I don't even know how I'm going to deal with this. Oh, we got to wound this. Oh no, this thing's got to, well, we need to wound it so we can, oh, this, I don't know, we're going to have to deal with that. That's probably going to kill somebody. Now that we're done, he has 2 rage, so he gets to add 1 of these tokens. Again, I don't know which one to do now. I think we're just going to go with this one again. And on top of that, I get to add this because I am at level 2, which is allowing me to re-roll 1 of my power dice. So when we get to there, we'll get to re-roll it. And on top of that, we might be able to even do more damage. Just to show you the rest of these that we have on here, these again are the same as this, allowing us to add more of those type of tokens. This one gives us another power die when we make an attack. And this one allows us to, I believe, push back the actual primordial, which is how we would attempt to potentially knock him into one of those, what do you call them, columns. So that's what you're seeing on this card. I never went through all of the different things you see here, but just be aware there are a lot of cool things you can do. So eventually, once we get up to like 6, you can do like 3 different tokens. You could potentially have 2 rerolls, or you could have a reroll and a pushback, and you get an extra die. I mean, there's so many cool things. And of course, you're going to want to communicate this back and forth with all your groups within your group, so you can figure out who has what's best for the next person coming up, depending on what their equipment is that could take advantage of the most of these tokens. Sadly, our primordial did not go in the middle of the board, which I was really hoping for. We have 2 characters left. These 2 have gone, so this one's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and attempt to make an attack. We will raise her rage stat by 1 and see what she can do. I need a 7 or better to hit this primordial. We'll roll these up. I got a 5 and a 2. I could raise her fate to attempt to hit again. I think I am, and the only reason I'm doing this is because I want to get the level 3 body part card off the top. If I can at least hit with 1, that'll at least trigger the ability to give myself some of those Kratos tokens. We'll see how it's going. Oh, I can only reroll 1 of these, so I'm going to reroll this one and see how we do here. We got another 6. That's no good. I need to get a 7 or better. I'm going to use another fate to roll it again. We're going to go up to 2 and see how we do. Let's just roll this one up and see how it goes here. We did get our 7. That's fantastic. We hit our body part. So we get to see what our level 3 body part is. I guarantee I'm not actually going to be hitting this or wounding this thing. It's got a 5. Ooh, there is a chance. Okay, it's the hand head. Oh boy. All right, now if we kill this and put it in the body part section, look at this. We get lots of cool stuff for our resources here. But as it stands, we have to get a 5 or better, and I only get to roll 2 dice, so I think it's going to be pretty much non-existent, but you never know. We'll see where these fall. We got 2 and a token, so that's 2 right there. I don't even think there is a 3 on this die. Nope, there's only a 2, so I can't really do it. Oh, look, I got so close. Oh, wait, I did hit it because he's at -1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, in the Kratos pool was a reroll and this, so I can turn this into a wound. That's 4. We did wound it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We're adding level 3s like crazy to this guy. He's going to do some major things here, though. So on top of actually hitting him and doing this damage, we've wounded this card. He's going to perform what's called an instinct. So whether we hit him or not, whether we wounded him or not, he was going to do that to us no matter what. So first off, we're going to be pushed back 3. We're going to gain 3 danger. So we're going to give our character 3 danger here. That's not good. Now remember, this is during a reaction, so it's not going to cause us to draw any trauma cards. It's then going to knock us back 5, but first it's going to push back 3, which may help us so we can get our other character to attack it. The first thing we are going to do is push back 3, so I'm going to turn this way and push back 1, 2, 3, just like that. Now notice it went right through that guy, so we're going to be performing what is called a crash. Every time a primordial moves through a space that contains a Titan, they're going to be gaining what is called crash. They're going to gain 1 danger, and we're going to also suffer knockdown, which is going to be a condition card, and it's located right here. It says when you are knocked down, place your miniature on its side to remember. So we're going to place him like that. On top of that, Salone is going to gain 1 danger. Again, this is not from an attack, so I do not draw a trauma card. We'll continue on here. It says you cannot move, voluntary attack, or use actions or abilities unless stated otherwise. If this card is discarded by any other effect, stand up, see the other side of the card. At the end of your next turn, flip this card. So we'll place this card onto his character sheet so I remember that he can't go. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it right underneath him. Well, actually, I should remember because he's laying down. Do you think I'd remember that? We'll see. I give myself about a 50-50 chance. Okay, this thing has finished his push back. Now it's going to perform his knockback. Now remember, its knockback is going to be -2, so it's only 3. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't knock her down, but it knocks her back. Now sadly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just can't get to this. I'll show you shortly why, and I'm super sad by that. We'll then place this into the wound stack. We now have 3 in the wound stack, which is pretty sweet. But since this was a level 3 part, I'm just going to place it right here for a second. It does tell you to set it aside because we're going to be adding what is called a double wound. When you gain a primordial resources during the battle aftermath, exchange this card for a random BP3 card. This is a double wound. It's going to be placed into the wound stack. The reason why I put that there in this here is because it's going to go back into the deck. But first, we have to take a level 3 body part and place it into the deck. Give it a good shuffle again. Hopefully it doesn't appear on top. I don't want to see any more level 3s on top. I'm going to cover that little part there so I can't. This one part is kind of hard to shuffling these cards and not know what you're coming up with. All right, we have that there. Once that's done, we're going to take our level 3 body part and place it on the bottom. So it may come back again. We also have to add a level 3 AI card to this deck and remove a level 1 card from the deck, which means we have like almost a 50-50 chance of having to deal with a level 3 card here. Oh my gosh. All right, we'll shuffle this up and give it a good old truffle shuffle and see what we got here. We have a level 3. We're in big trouble. Okay. I got it off the top. There it is again. I do want you to realize that those level 3 body part cards, there's a different escalation, which is why I showed you this one. The if you normally the 1s turn into 2s, 2s turn into 3s, but those 3s, remember, don't go away. They keep on coming back. Now, if you were to critically wound that one, you would put that into the wound stack. And that card would still count as 2 wounds. So right now, instead of 3, we have 4. We're down to only needing 2 more. Now, sadly, I ran out of people. Let's see what this vile contraption is going to do. It is primordial. Oofda, this is going to be bad news city. Let's see what happens. We have 3 potential. Oh, no, I haven't. I've got 1 more Titan that gets to go, which means she gets to move up. Sadly, I'm not sure what this guy is going to do. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to right there. Just trying to get maybe into position to come in and attack him. Or maybe I'll move up 5 right to there. That's it. We'll move right there. Now we'll draw our AI card and see what is going to befall our wonderful Titans here. Now, I don't gain a rage when I move this character up because she did not make an attack. She only moved. And if I had a ranged attack, maybe I could do that and I could get a rage, but I don't. Let's flip it over, see what we got. We have Solar Plexar. I roll 3 dice and need a 9+. That's not going to happen. It says right here, it knows you're just controlling the Titans, and it intends to break that connection with Flare. It's going to target the closest Titan in range in front. So that's going to be this Titan right here because the front line is right here. You see this thing is going to move and attack probably. Let's see what it says here. Move, attack. If I had Fate 7+, I would have to roll 1 more dice. Each hit is going to deal 1, what is this? Danger, sorry. And then it's going to have a Forest Vault, and it's going to knock down. This is going to be bad news. And then after the attack, if danger was dealt, draw a Kratos card. Oh no, this isn't probably, none of this is going to be good. None of this is going to be good. This thing is going to first move up to here. There we go. Also, I have to mention that I had to remove everything from the Kratos pool after that one, after her attack, and put new stuff in. The reason I didn't do that is because when she moves up, she's going to clear the Kratos pool, and she can't put anything in it because she didn't make an attack, which is super sad. We're going to now get rocked. She's going to have to roll 3 dice and get a 9+. Now, as we play through the game, of course, you'll gain abilities that allow you to potentially block certain attacks or make this an easier number to achieve. But where we are now, I'm just going to become Swiss cheese is what the deal is. I need a 9+ on 3 dice. We'll see how this goes. I got 1. Oh, I got 2. Are you kidding me? Okay, I can use a Fate to re-roll these dice if I wish to, and you bet I do. Let's take our little dial here, give ourselves a 3rd Fate, which is fantastic, and I can re-roll this die. Now, do be aware that when you use Fate to re-roll these dice, you can only re-roll a die once, which is why when I did the attack, I re-rolled the white one, and then I decided to re-roll that black one. I can't just keep on re-rolling this white one over and over. I need a 9+. Let's do it. Oh, I got a 7. Okay. Well, that's okay. I did get hit only once, which means I will take 1 danger, bringing my danger actually up to 4, which is bad. So now that that is done, I am going to have to draw a trauma card. Now, since we're at 4, we're going to have to draw a major trauma. So we'll take our major trauma deck, give it a good old truffle shuffle here, and do be aware you do that now before you resolve the rest of that card that's down here. It's after you get hit by an attack that causes danger, then you're going to draw your trauma card and see what it is. We have got Heroic Death, first round only. Ignore this card, find and resolve the Feigned Death minor trauma instead. On any other round, which is now the 2nd round, you die. Wow. But you won't sell your life cheap. Immediately stand up and move 3 space and perform a bonus attack. Then shuffle this card back into the trauma deck and die. If you have Spark of Dead Gods technology card, which of course we do not have, roll a d10. On a 10, you awaken. Okay, so that's fantastic. My character is dead. She is super dead. She is a dead Titan. I'm going to put her over here. But I do get to do a free attack, which is fantastic. Maybe we can wound him, and that'd be fantastic. I get to roll my 2 dice and see how it goes. Now, sadly, there's nothing in the Kratos pool to help me. Nope, didn't hit. But, of course, since I'm dying, why don't I just use my Fate? We'll go up 2 to re-roll these dice. Why not? What have we got to lose here? 7+. Oh, look at that. I got a critical. That's fantastic. Let's see what we have hit. We have hit this, 1 of 100. And so this critical. I'm going to gain 2 rage. Whoopee-doo. I'm going to be super dead anyway. We're going to roll our power dice. I only hit with 1, so I get to roll 2 power dice. I need to get at least 1 in order to do it. We got 2. So we did wound on our way out, which is fantastic. Our character's dead. This is awesome. Oh my gosh. Heroic Death. She stood up and just took her, I guess, like crossbow, but even though all her fists, and just plunged them straight into the 1 of a 100 fist. That's super cool. All right, we're going to now deal with that whole thing and then come back to this. We'll place our card into the wound stack because it is only a level 1 card. We're going to remove a level 1 AI card if there's even one in here. Yep, there is. There's a few. We'll move that from the game and we'll grab a level 2 AI card and a level 2 body part card and stick them into the respective decks and give it a good old truffle shuffle here. All right. Well, that's a level 1 on top. I like that. Let's see what's going to go on top of this thing. Hopefully not a level 3. We'll see how it all transpires here. All right, put it down. And, well, level 2, it's not too bad. Okay, so we got level 2 and a level 1 we have to deal with. All right, we still have to resolve this card, but I think a lot of the card that we're supposed to resolve just got dead. Forest Vault Knockdown. After attack, if danger was dealt, draw a Kratos card. I'll draw the Kratos card. I don't know how much that's going to do. I know our Sad Titan is dead. But if I had to do a Forest Vault, which is what it says, you are going to place your figure on the other side of the Primordial just like that. Now, if that would have placed you into an impassable object like one of these, let's say, or if it would have put you off the board edge, your character would be dead. That's absolutely out of control. Now, of course, I'll be knocked down, but I'm not going to be knocked down, and I'm going to draw a Kratos card. It told me to draw a Kratos card, but I believe a lot of these are just going to affect the character that just died. Let's just see. Just to show you what a card is, Reject Argonaut. The Titan is having serologic reaction to the Argonaut. Perform a Kratos roll. Fail, you die. Oh, boy. Well, that's okay. I'm already dead. A Kratos roll, just to tell you what that is you are going to take your, whatever your rage value is on your dial, you're going to roll the die. If you get lower than that number, or sorry, if you get higher than that number, you're okay. If you get lower, then you're dead. So that's what it does. That card, that does. Okay, that's the... That was super cool. He went flying up there, smashed my guy into the ground. She stood up and just punched him real good and died in the process, which was pretty awesome. We'll put this into the AI discard pile, and we'll move on to our next round. We only have 2 characters that can perform anything because this one has been knocked down. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces away, so he's not going to be fighting. But she'll come tearing down here. 1, 2, 3, and who knows, maybe she'll hit him right there. She's going to attack from the back, which isn't going to give me bonuses, but at least I can attack. I have my 2 fists that need a 7+. I got a 6 and a 1. I don't like either of those rolls. We're going to use some fate. I have 0. Now, of course, like I said before, one of the easiest things to remember is when you go to make an attack, before you do, you gain 1 rage. We're going to gain 1 fate. I'm going to gain 2. I'm just going to reroll both those dice. That's totally fine. Maybe we can hit something with them. All we have to do is hit this guy one more time. Let's do it. Oh, look at that. Another critical hit. And an 8. That's fantastic. Let's see what we're hitting. We're hitting the Runt. The Runt only has 2. And it says here, during the second ability window, place 2 additional opening or break tokens in the Kratos pool. I don't think that's going to matter. I think this poor thing is going to fall down. But I did lose one of my Titans, which is kind of sad. We'll roll these up and see how we do. Now, funny enough, I only got 1, which is just enough to wound it because remember, all these are at -1, so I need to meet or beat that number. That is a wound. If it failed, I would have been pushed back. But I'm not going to deal with that because remember, we got a critical. So since we wounded, we would ignore any of the reactions up here and just do what's on here, which is put some stuff in the Kratos pool, but that's not going to matter. And that is because when we meet the number according to our primordial here, we have won the battle. His health is 6, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the wound stack, so he is dead. At the end of the battle, it says, as the dust falls, you remain standing. The Hecaton does not. This was a hard-earned victory, but a victory nonetheless. For now, the Argo is safe and can continue on its journey. And you need some answers. As your souls slowly leave the Titan's bodies, you notice peculiar blades sticking out of the Hecaton's side. You haven't noticed them before. Be it the reason the monster was weaker than expected? To whom do they belong? The first thing we'll do after the battle is gain our resources, and they're notated right here on the side, and they also have the symbols right here. You're going to gain resources equal to the level of the monster. So for example, if we fought a level 4 monster, we'd get 4 of each of these. We fought a level 0, but we're still going to get 1 of everything, which is kind of nice. So we're going to get these 3 plus that one, and we're going to mark those down on our sheet right here. So it looks like we have 3 of these, and 1 of those, which is pretty sweet. We got some good stuff starting out here. And that's going to cover those. Now we do have this double wound right here, which is treated a little bit different. What we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 level 3 body part cards that we had in our body part deck. We're going to combine them with the rest of the deck that is all level 3 cards. We're going to mix those up, give them a good old truffle shuffle, and then we're going to draw 1. And that's the resource we have found from our level 3. We're going to gain 1 of each of those, meaning we've got 4 of these and 1 of those. So let's see here. That's going to be 4, Trimi, I'm going to say that totally wrong, and 2 muscle clusters. Maybe we can... Now, these could potentially be used for crafting or other things, and especially used more in the journey phase. And as you see, there's a huge amount of stuff going on this sheet of paper. I'm not going to go through any of this. This is all going to be part of the journey step when we go journeying around with our ship, which is going to be pretty sweet, and that'll be in the next video. Every once in a while during a battle, you're going to be gaining special rewards. According to this battle, we are going to be gaining these Siren Teeth. It's going to allow us to roll 3 dice instead of 2 like our fists. And that's basically, oh, I have some little powers down here. It says opening 1 and reposition 2. It's a shell and a knife, which are its tags. They might be used later on in the game when we have to deal with tags against certain enemies, or gaining benefits if we have these in our arsenal. Next, you have to suffer casualties. Normally, you're going to be losing these Titans and you're going to be removing them from your sheet. However, we don't have any Titans at this moment because we haven't really started the journey step, but you're going to have a certain amount of Titans in your arsenal, and as they get destroyed, you're going to lose them. For now, we're just going to write down the number of Titans we have, which is going to be 3. We have 3 Dreamwalker Titans. But we'll be doing that in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial battle of Aeon Trespass Odyssey. This game is going to be amazing. There are so many cool aspects to the battle that I'm excited to see. We were able to fight even a level 3 body part. We took that out. There was some Kratos card action going on that we didn't have to deal with because, of course, the coolest thing was that she did a heroic death. She stood up and stabbed him with her fist straight through his one of the 100 arms he had. We got some pretty cool things. We're going to move on to the journey phase next. This is going to be super exciting. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more videos come out for Aeon's Trespass. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. If you're interested in supporting the channel, my Patreon description is in the description of this video. I said description twice, but that's okay. Those that have joined the Patreon are located here on the screen. Thank you so much for your support. Patreon supporters get a lot of neat benefits for helping support the channel. They get to, 1, decide what we get to name some of our characters as we play through the game, also what characters are going to be used in the game. They also get to help with certain story moments that make a pivotal moment in the game. I like to make sure this channel is for everyone. They also will get some early access to some of the videos that I make. I'm excited to get going into Aeon's Trespass. I'm also going to be painting up our first player token, so if you're interested in seeing that, please join me over at my channel during live painting episodes that I try to do once a week. Also, Colin joins me from the One Stop Co-op Shop every week, and we play a game together. We're hoping to eventually get this onto the channel together. It'll be such a blast to be able to play this with him. But for now, we'll be moving into the next part of this video series. I hope you can join me. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see more Aeon's Trespass, and if the 3 remaining Titans can actually do some good work and avenge our fallen friend here, then I need you to meet me at the table.